Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Kaya's Hero. Chapter 3, A Sick Baby. During the night, a light snowfall fell. Kaya was sweeping it away from the outside of the logs when she heard a soft sound that gently rose and fell. The sound of a flute. She cocked her head. Someone was playing sweet, winding notes that sounded both happy and sad at the same time. The melody made Kaya think of a warm spring breeze blowing in the depth of water. Had Two Hawks finished the little flute she had been helping him begin? Was he playing it? When she swept the ground bare with a piece of sagebrush, she hurried to find him. She found Two Hawks in the lodge near the door. He was sitting with an older boy named Runs Home, who was holding a flute to his lips. No. The sweet music Kaya had heard was the older boy's skilled playing. Kaya knew Runs Home liked to serenade girls on long summer evenings. When Two Hawks saw Kaya, he raised his flutes to his lips and blew. A squeak. He blew again. Another shrill squeak and then a squeak. Runs Home frowned. He took the flute from Two Hawks and compared it to his. He showed Two Hawks that the slit he made at the top was too small. The holes in the inside were too large. Two Hawks seized his flute and shoved it out of the flight under a parfleche. He folded his arms over his chest and gave Kaya a fierce look of anger and disappointment. Since Two Hawks had been with her people, he put on some weight and looked much healthier. But the moment he reminded her of the skinny, bitter boy she had first seen in the enemy camp. Can you help him find another elderberry stick? Runs Home asked her. He can learn to make a good flute if he'll let me work with him. Kaya flew Two Hawks the words, "Come with me, we'll find another stick." Two Hawks turned his head. Kaya thought his ankle was healed and he could run away from them. He would. You can't make something perfect the first time you try, she signed to Two Hawks. You have to practice. Learn to get horses for us so we can find another stick for you. Will he go with you? Runs Home asked her. He did before, she said firmly. He will again. I'm sure of it. Listen to me. Runs Home signed to Two Hawks. I'll teach you some things. Two Hawks looked closely at Runs Home, then at Kaya. He set his jaw and shrugged. Then he got to his feet and hobbled outside right at Kaya's heels, as if he was relieved that she and Runs Home hadn't let him quit on his first try. Kaya and Brown Deer were helping Cayusta take wrapped camas cakes from a storage pit, and then a cry from the village. Friends are arriving. Get ready for them, he called out. They all stopped what they were doing and gathered to welcome their visitors. A northeast wind, the coldest one, blew fine flakes of snow. Kaya shaded her eyes as she watched the horizon. She soon saw a dark line of horses and riders come over the snow, rise, and descend into the village. What could be better in this cold season than the warmth of greeting of friends and family? Everyone hugged and smiled and talked and handed around gifts. Men, women, and children crowded inside with their belongings until all the lodges were completely full. Kaya caught sight of Cut Cheek standing with Tota and Pilaka. He'd come with the others from a winter village nearby. She had forgotten how handsome Cut Cheek was, with his broad forehead, flashing eyes, and high cheekbones, a scar on one of them. Would Brown Deer hurry to greet him as others were doing? He was looking around the gathering. Kaya searched the crowd too. Where was her older sister? Then Kaya saw her. Brown Deer was standing modestly by the doorway of their lodge. Her cheeks were burning, as if she knew Cut Cheek was looking her way. Then she raised her eyes to his. Something passed between them like a shiver of heat lightning. Kaya smiled to herself and thought, someday soon Cut Cheek will wear the necklace Brown Deer is making. Kaya's aunt from a nearby village greeted her with a strong hug and kiss. Scouts told us about your capture and escape, she said. We're so glad you're well. "Did the scouts have any news of my sister?" Kaya asked. The smile left Aunt's face. "No one has any news of her," she said. "Of course, no one can cross the Buffalo Trail now. Our enemies must have taken her back to their country with them." Biting her lip, Kaya turned away. Swan Circling touched Kaya's arm. "Will you help me carry these baskets of food?" she asked Kaya gently. "We have so much to do for the gathering tonight." When night came, Kaya and the others, dressed in their best clothes, and entered the ceremonial lodge for their New Year gathering. This was the shortest day of the year, and the darkest. The clouds had cleared, and the stars shone in the sky, where the new moon, thin as a fishbone, had risen. 4 big teepees had been put together to make this lodge, but as soon as the large space was crowded with people of all ages. Several men held a drum made of stick of hide. The fires in the center of the lodge cast their light on the walls, and the air smelled sweetly of cedar burrows and mats. When everyone was in the lodge, To Soar Like an Eagle raised his hand to get attention. He wore a feathered headdress and a painted hide shirt decorated with porcupine quills. He was a very respected old chief, with white eyebrows and a loud, powerful voice that came from his chest. Kaya watched his lined face as he spoke. "Hanya what has made the night longer than all the others," To Soar Like an Eagle said. "In the darkest time, let us reflect on the days that have gone before and the days that lie ahead. It is time to renew life." The drummers began, filling the light with drum beats that echoed back from the surrounding hills. After the drumming, men and women began to speak of births and deaths and of the gifts Hanya Wat had given them in the past year. They told them of good deeds and acts of bravery. They gave thanks for successful hunts and for ample fish and roots and berries. Together they prayed that all might keep their minds and hearts pure so there would be enough food for years to come. Kaya listened closely to the prayer songs. She looked at her parents and grandparents standing near her. Firelight played over their solemn faces. Brown Deer, too, was sober and thoughtful. Even the twins, such lively little boys, seemed to be listening closely to the singing. 2 hawks who couldn't understand the words gazed steadily at the others as though he understood everything from their serious expressions. Kaya could see Swan Circling stand with her young husband, Claw Necklace. Her dark eyes reflected the firelight, but her thoughts seemed far away, as if she were thinking of the future again. Kaya considered her own life over the past year. She had so much to be thankful for, but she also had many regrets too. Her good and bad feelings mingled like the streams of smoke rising from the fires. Her eyes smarted with them. When Kaya glanced again at Swan Circling, she realized she was troubling her most tonight. She hadn't yet told her friend how she got her nickname, or how her disobedience had got her and Speaking Rain captured. She hadn't been brave enough, but until she did, Swan Circling wouldn't really know her. Kaya closed her eyes. "Hanya what? Make me honest and strong in character," she prayed silently. "Help me face life with an honorable, truthful, and strong will." When the prayers came to an end, it was time for the midnight feast. Women brought out streaming salmon broths, followed by bowls of mashed roots and berries. As Kaya watched the preparation, she felt a quiet, calm resolve in her heart. Her prayer had given her courage. She would tell Swan Circling everything as soon as possible. Kaya watched for a chance to speak with Swan Circling, but all the visitors crowded onto their lodges. They were never together. After several days, the visitors left for their own villages. Now surely Kaya would take Swan Circling aside and talk to her. One morning, Kaya was Kaya was piling wood beside the cooking fires when Running Alone hurried over to her. "Would you look after my baby for a little while?" Running Alone asked Kaya. "I'm troubled about her. I want to find Bear Blanket and ask her for help." Kaya was worried as she followed Running Alone, though the lodge, to her sleeping place. Bear Blanket was a powerful medicine woman who had cured many, many sick people. Light on the Water must be sick, or Running Alone wouldn't be looking for the medicine woman's help. Light on the Water lay in a hide swing hung from the lodge poles. Kaya leaned over her. The baby's face was flushed, and each time she drew a breath, she coughed. Tiny beads of sweat covered her forehead and cheeks. Her eyes were open, but she didn't gaze up to Kaya. She didn't seem to see anything at all. When Running Alone hurried off, Kaya placed her finger in the baby's hot little hand. Light on the Water didn't tug at it as she usually did. "Are you sick, little one?" Kaya whispered. There's help for you. You won't be sick for long." Soon Bear Blanket came through the door of the lodge. She was an old gray-haired woman, but her back was as straight as an arrow. Kaya knew that Bear Blanket always kept her mind and body clean, so she would be ready to help those who needed her. Her animal spirit helper was a grizzly bear. Long ago, she had received this medicine power, the power to heal from this Wyakin. Bear Blanket carried a medicine bundle in one hand. Swan Circling followed right behind her. Running Alone mentioned for Kaya to stand aside so that Bear Blanket could see her baby. The old woman studied the baby's face and bent over to listen to her coughing. Then she spread her hands over the baby's head and began to sing one of her medicine songs. As soon as she sang, she passed her hands up and down over Light on the Water's body. Kaya saw the baby's eyelids tremble and shut, and then again as she coughed harder. Bear Blanket drew Swan Circling aside and spoke to her, then went back to her singing. Swan Circling frowned. "She wants me to bring her the inner bark of a special tree to boil for a healing drink," she said to Running Alone. "I'm going to get on my horse and go after it now." "But it's very cold," Running Alone said. "The northeast wind is blowing again. Will you be all right?" "I can't wait," Swan Circling said. "Your baby needs the medicine now." Running Alone put her hand on Swan Circling's arm. "Then hurry," she urged her. "Kaya will be round up your horse for you while you get your blankets and your knife." Kaya threw a deerskin over her shoulders and grabbed a rope bridle. Her breath was a white plume on her lips as she ran out of the herd grazing near the village. She found Swan Circling's white-faced horse, placed the bridle shower on the lower jaw, and rode on her back to the lodges. Swan Circling was wearing otter-skin leggings and mittens and her elk rope behind her. She held a beautiful saddle of wood and painted rawhide. Kaya reined in the horse and slipped off. Kaya put on the saddle and reached under the horse's belly for the cinch. Already Swan Circling was hanging her bags in the saddle horn. "Cinch it snugly," Swan Circle told her. "I'm going to ride as fast as possible. Bear Blanket said the baby is very sick." She tested the saddle cinch with her weight and then swung up. "Good work, Kaya. I'll be back before last light. Watch for me." She urged her horse forward and with a few strides was running full across the frozen ground. "I'll watch for you," Kaya called, but the wind snatched her words. All day, Kaya stayed with Running Alone and her baby. Bear Blanket sang her medicine songs, but the baby only coughed harder and harder. Her little face was red, and her eyes screwed shut with her effort to breathe. Kaya watched her anxiously. Did the baby have a terrible sickness of blisters that the man with pale faces had brought to the land? Kaya was afraid to ask. As light began to fade, Kaya went to watch for Swan Circling's return. At dusk, there were no colors in the valley. The river was a shining black curve like a snake, and the trees were black slashes against the white snow. Under the dark clouds, a hawk rode the wind in slow, wide turns. Where's Swan Circling? Kaya thought. Why hasn't she come back? Then she saw a horse appear in the trees at the far end of the valley. Kaya ran up the hillside a little way to get a better look. The horse had a white face, Swan Circling's horse. Kaya caught her breath in relief. But as the horse came closer out of the trees, Kaya saw that it was limping as though it was hurt, and that it had no rider. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.